Good morning, friends. Nova here for yoga. As you can see, I brought a companion with me today, Miss Mildred. She will likely be having all sorts of fun getting under me and on top of me and lying with me throughout our practice. She is my prop for today. So today's practice is devoted to having fun. When I first started practicing yoga about 12 years ago, I had three children in diapers, and I would take them to the Y and I would go take a yoga class. And the instructor would say, set an intention for your practice. And I hadn't learned anything about setting intentions yet. So the thing that always came to my mind was to have fun. I just want to have fun. This is my break. This is my time to play. This is my time to explore. I just wanted to have fun. So I thought today that would be appropriate for all of us to just have a little fun, take the shoulds out of our life, take the shoulds out of our practice, and just move and breathe and have a little fun with ourselves. So as always, please only do postures that feel good for you and your body. This is about having fun, but it's also about being safe. So I will offer modifications as we move through. And let's begin. Let's find ourselves in a nice, comfortable seat, whatever that's going to be for you today. You want to invite in some supports, maybe some animals to join you in your room if you haven't already. Whatever it is that can make your practice a little bit more fun and playful. Feel free to put on some music. I'm not playing any music today. I want you to be able to play your own music at home if you'd like to invite that into your own practice. So finding our seat, shoulders over hips, in any position for the legs, any position for the arms where they can relax, and we can close the eyes or find a soft gaze down towards the floor and begin to settle. So bringing awareness into our body, into our breath, in whatever way suits you today. Perhaps a breath count, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever number you wish on the in-breath, and counting on the out-breath, or maybe just breathing. Just being here, just being aware of everything that's going on around you and where your body settles in space. See if you can find a focal point that brings you some joy. Maybe it's some distant sounds from where you are. Maybe it's the warmth of a creature lying with you. Or maybe it's just the sound of your breath, or the feeling in your chest as your breath goes in and out. See if you can stay with that feeling. Stay with that feeling of joy, of happiness, of fun. And if any other thoughts try to invade that focus, just politely ask them to step aside. I'm here to have some fun today. So maybe you'll get a visual of what fun looks like for you. What are you doing? What do you look like? What do you feel like when you're enjoying yourself, when you're having a good time? It may even feel good to add a little smile into your face today. And a smile into your heart, knowing that you're here, taking this time to give yourself a little vacation, a vacation right here in our bodies, in our minds, in our breath, where we can relax and have some fun. Let's bring our hands to heart center, dropping the chin down towards the chest. Setting your own intention for your fun practice today, whatever that may be. Whatever comes to you is exactly what you need. And then releasing the hands back down towards the legs. Let's round the back here. Drop the chin in towards the chest. Tuck the belly in towards the spine. And spread those shoulder blades. Take a few breaths into the back side of the body. And then come back into neutral and slowly come the other way. Draw the shoulders back and open. Turn the gaze up and lift the chin. Feel the breath into your heart space here. If you feel any restrictions around this area, try to imagine sending the breath there and allowing it to open. It's like we're cracking a shell, just to open up a little bit more, to receive a little bit more, be a bit more free, to take all the rules off of ourselves. No worries. Good. Come back to a neutral spine. Let's come to a gentle twist, just turning to one side or the other. Relax the hands wherever they fall. We can turn our gaze and just breathe here. When we come into twists, I think of wringing out a washcloth or a sponge. So let these twists be cleansing, to get rid of junk that you don't need. Let's come back to neutral and over to our other side, relaxing the shoulders here again, just wringing out the junk that we don't need, making some room to fill our lives with the things that we do want. We want to feel good and have a little fun. Let's turn back into neutral. A side bend to balance the spine, leaning to one side. Just reaching that arm up and over, or maybe keeping it down today. Maybe just leaning into this, playing with that gaze, and settling the gaze wherever it feels good for the neck. Let's come back to neutral, over to our other side. Same thing here, rooted down in our seat. Open that opposite side body, maybe lifting the arm, maybe not. Maybe petting your dog if she is there with you. Let's come back into neutral, releasing anything that you might be sitting on. We're going to bring our feet out in front of us and bring the feet about hip width apart. Hands can come behind the thighs here. We're going to lean back and come into our boat pose to start, keeping the feet on the ground and resting the hands wherever they rest. So just a couple breaths here, noting the length in the spine in our boat. So setting a gaze where the neck can be long and inviting in core strength here. So drawing in through the belly and a nice strong breath. And then come back up to neutral and relax into a nice little ball. We can wrap the arms around the shins, drop the head, soften through the belly. Just taking some breaths here. And then lifting back up. Let's bring the hands behind us now. Fingers can face forward. We'll press back into our palms. We're going to lift those feet and bring them out in front of us. A little work to warm up the core. So we're in our same position as our boat, but we're going to move our legs. So we're going to breathe in and bring the knees in. Breathe out and extend the legs. Breathing in and breathing out to extend. Firing up that core today. We want some core strength to guide us through our movements and protect our spine. Also beginning to pair breath with movement here. Notice how the breath helps us as we exhale and inhale. Helps us to move, helps to guide that movement. Maybe gives us a point of distraction as well, which isn't always a bad thing, right? Open and back. 2 more here. And our last one. Coming up, let's bring the feet to the floor again. Arms can wrap around those shins. Relax the head. Maybe a little rock side to side here. Whatever is going to balance out your body and that movement. Notice where muscles are starting to feel warm. Good. Let's come back up to our seat. Bring those hands behind again. We're going to lift the feet one more time. Bring the feet up. This time we're going to go side to side. So we're going to draw the knees in and extend. In as we exhale, extending out to the opposite side. So a little rotation, a little twist through the torso, through the legs. We kind of lean into one side, into one hip, and come back. Moving with the breath. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Whatever breath pattern works for you. No rules. I think I just switched it midway. One more time on each side. Let's come back in, bring those feet to the floor. This time, let's let the knees fall open. Bottoms of the feet together. A little wiggle in our seat here. An inhale breath, draw out through the top of the head, and an exhale breath, come forward. Try to relax through the knees, relax through the hips. Maybe holding this still, or maybe some little wiggles and movements. Sometimes when we're moving, especially holding these stretches, I find those little movements can help to carve out some space into different parts of the joints. Almost like someone's massaging me. Little movements. Couple more breaths here. Let those hips relax. Maybe dropping the head, maybe dropping the shoulders. And then roll our way back up into a seat. Let's bring those hands behind again. Feet are going to stay on the floor, and we're going to wiggle those feet about mat width apart. Find some sways for the legs side to side. So maybe pairing your movement with your breath, maybe just moving, maybe just breathing. Like I said, taking those rules out so long as we're being safe. Bring it back and forth. Let's come to one side here and let the legs fall down towards the floor. Hold that posture for a moment and settle into your breath. And come back to center, over to the other side. Same thing here. Just hold and breathe. And then bring the legs back to center. Let's bring the feet behind. Come to hands and knees. And inviting support under the knees if you'd like. And finding our nice tabletop posture here. Wrists are under our shoulders, knees are under our hips, our hands are spread nice and wide. We can feel all points of the palm and out to the fingertips as they touch down into the floor. Let's lengthen out the spine, draw the belly in, and find some circles for our torso. So we're going to scoot ourselves forward to the side and back. Just moving around, opening up the wrists into the forearms, as well as getting some rotation on the knees, the knee joints. Let's go the opposite direction. And then settle back into center. We're going to stretch those wrists out a little bit more. So turning the fingertips to the side, so long as that feels good for your wrists. Maybe find a little sway for the torso side to side here. See where we can stretch out into the hands and into the wrists a little bit more. If this feels good, we can stay right here, or maybe we can turn those fingertips back towards our body and find some movement here again, or maybe just hold it still. We get a nice stretch through the inside of the forearm, I guess that would be there. Up into the elbows. Maybe joints that we don't think about very much. Now let's start to work those hands back out in front, staying with the fingers nice and wide, or if those wrists need a break, you can make a fist and come to the tops of the fist there to hold ourselves up. It's a different angle on the wrist. It might feel better to be up that way. Kind of reminds me of a gorilla. Any posture that works for you here. If your cat-cow's the normal way here, we'll drop the belly, lift the chin, lift the tailbone. Again, just breathing and moving. No rules in this cat-cow. If it feels good to stay with our patterned breath where we exhale as we round and where we inhale as we lift, we can do that. Or maybe switch it up today. Maybe go the opposite way. See how that feels. See how that feels. Maybe we'll spend the rest of the day walking backwards everywhere we go just to see how that feels. Gaining a little different perspective and having a little fun with it. And let's come back into a neutral spine. We're going to come back into warming up that core again. So let's bring that right leg behind. Toe and ball of the foot come to the floor. We're just going to rock forward and backward here to start. So coming up to the toe and then pressing back through the heel, stretching out the calf and continuing to stretch out the wrists. So if at any point this becomes uncomfortable, we can come to the fists here or even use blocks underneath the hands. Find that helpful. You can also come to your forearms. Let's settle the shoulders over the wrists. We're going to lift that back leg, press through the heel, draw in through the belly so our gaze is down. We're going to get some strength here by lifting up with the left arm. Breathing in and out, spinal balance, extending out through the fingertip and back through the heel. And release. Bring that hand back to the floor. Bring that knee back to the floor. Let's take that left leg behind. Ball of the foot and the toes. Guiding forward and backward. Come up to the toe and then back through the heel. There's always options to just not do. Not do the things that are coming. If you don't like spinal balance and you say, that is not making me happy today, Nova, stay right here. If you want to invite in your spinal balance, shoulders are over our wrists. We're going to lift that leg, press through the heel. Invite in that right arm, spinal balance here. Reach through the fingertips, reach through the heel. Find some strong breath. And release. Hand and knee back to the mat. One more time on those spinal balances with a little fun, playful modification here. So we can bring the toe back to the floor. We can hold in the stretch or we can lift the leg. Press through the heel. Invite in that left arm. We can keep them here, or maybe we can extend the left arm out to our side and maybe extend the right leg out to the side. So we're making a diagonal from our left fingertips down to our right heel. This is called awkward airplane for a reason. Breath for balance and strength. Hold it if you're here with me. Then come back to neutral. Hand to the mat, knee to the mat. Couple of little movements and sways here. And then the same thing on that other side. Left foot can come back. Maybe lift, maybe extend. Maybe that right arm comes to the side. And maybe the left leg comes to the side. Find your awkward airplane. It's like trying to do a new dance when you're not a dancer. Or trying to follow instructions. Right is left, left is right. Who knows anymore, right? And what does it really matter? Let's come back to center. Release the hand, release the knee. Let's come into our puppy stretch. Extend those hands forward and release down towards the floor. Couple of breaths here just to settle back in. And when you're ready, let's come into our downward facing dog. Hands are shoulder width apart. You can tuck those toes, lift the hips, find some movement here. We can pedal out those legs, pressing into one heel and then into the other. Maybe shifting the gaze side to side, open that neck. Any movement that feels good. Eventually coming into stillness. Just a couple of breaths here. Feel that height up through the hips. Drawing in the low belly. Gazes back between the legs. And then let's allow those hands and feet to meet wherever they come together on your mat. Forward fold. Arms relax down towards the floor. Head relaxes down towards the floor. Take some breaths here to let it drain out. We'll begin with some nice flowing breaths here. Just breathing in, lifting up halfway, and breathing out to fold back down. We're making that wave with our spine, slowly rolling up and rolling back down. Breathing in and breathing out. In and out. Next breath in, we're going to pause in our halfway lift. Back is parallel to the floor and our shoulders are drawing away from our ears. Let's take those hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Begin to bend into the knees and drop the hips, coming into our chair pose. Nice little lightning bolt down the side of our body. Our weight's back into our heels. Our legs are engaged, our belly's engaged, and our shoulders and our face remain soft and relaxed. Just letting the lower half handle some of that weight here and relaxing through the top. Let's press down through the feet, take a breath in and sweep those arms up overhead, palms come together. And exhale, hands down in front of our heart. Finding our tall mountain pose here with hands at heart center. We're going to twist ourselves to one side. Find that spiral from the heels up to the top of the head, turning the gaze back behind and then extending the arms for a nice open arm twist. We can keep the hands relaxed here, or maybe reach and extend, ignite the fingertips. Let's bring the hands back to heart center, turn to face forward. Inviting that twist the other way. Feet stay rooted solid. We're going to turn and look over the opposite shoulder and then extend through those arms. Reaching out through the fingertips for a more active, engaged practice, or just staying soft. Let's bring those hands back to heart center, turn to face forward. Breathing in, we'll raise the arms up overhead. Fingertips reach up towards the ceiling. We're going to grab one wrist, press down through the feet, and reach over to the opposite side. Coming back to center. Let's switch those hands. Opposite arm reaches up and over. And a little fun in that body. Come back to center. Hands come together. We'll bring them back down in front of our heart. If we aren't at the top of our mat, let's find our way there and then release the arms. So we're in our mountain pose. Moving through a few sun salutations to warm our body some more. Let's breathe in, arms reach up towards the sky. Breathe out to fold forward, hinging at those hips. Breathe in, come up halfway. And breathe out to fold. We'll plant those hands, step it back into down dog. Adding in those optional vinyasa flows if you wish, or maybe just coming to down dog today. Wherever you are, we'll meet in downward facing dog. And then we'll allow the hands and feet to meet on the mat wherever they come together, forward fold. Breathe in to lift up halfway. And breathe out to fold back down. We're going to root through those feet and rise on up. Nice big circle with those arms. Hands come together overhead. And we'll draw the hands down to heart center. Coming to the top of the mat if we aren't already there. One more flow through our body. Lord, I don't want you to rush it this time. And I want you to pay attention to each transition as you move through that flow. So each time we change our body posture, are we jumping to that next position? If you've done these many times, you know what's coming. And maybe you grow tired of them. I know I do. And try to approach it with a different perspective. I'll guide you through and you find your own pace and movement. Let's breathe in, arms reach up. And breathe out to fold. Can we enjoy each moment without jumping to the next? Inhale up halfway. And exhale down, planting the hands, either coming to down dog or plank, and exhale to lower down. And inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. And we'll meet everybody in down dog. Any movements here again or stillness? Find some breath. Don't think about where we're going next. We know where we're going. Think about where you are right now. Where can we find some joy in it? Where can we find some fun in this posture? I think it's fun that the skin on our face hangs the opposite way when we're upside down. Like a Salvador Dali photo painting. All right, guys, hands and feet meet together. Forward fold. Breathe in, come up halfway. Breathe out to fold it back down. Press through those feet and rise out of the ground like a nice, beautiful flower. And bring those hands down to heart center. Wonderful. Top of our mat if we aren't already there. We're going to step back with one foot and come into a wide-legged stance on our mat or on the floor, wherever you are. So feet a comfortable distance apart, parallel. Not sure if you can see my feet with Miss Mildred here, but parallel feet. We'll start with our hands at our hips. Let's open up the hips a little bit here by guiding the hips around in a circle. So side, forward, side, and back. This kind of reminds me of trying to hula hoop. I say trying because it's never been anything that I've been able to successfully do yet in my life. Let's go the opposite direction. And then settle your weight back into center. We're going to turn let's say our right foot to the side, find our triangle stance so our hips and shoulders stay open. We can extend those arms and gaze out over the right fingertips. A little dance here again. Let's reach forward and reach back, keeping the legs solid and steady, and finding a little fluidity, a little movement through the arms and through the torso. Now let's reach forward again, then turn that right palm up, raise it up towards the ceiling, a little stargazer. Gazing up at the fingertips if the neck allows, finding some balance and stability through the legs. Feel where that side body opens here. For fun, let's stay right here and start to bend into that right knee to come down into our peaceful warrior. So you may need to inch that foot forward a little bit more to keep the right knee over the right ankle. Maybe reach that top arm back a bit. Kind of play with that feeling. And then we'll bring the arms down. Find our warrior two. Arms are parallel. Our gaze is out over those right fingertips. We're going to turn those palms up. Draw the shoulders down away from our ears. Press down through the feet to straighten the legs and bring the hands together overhead. And then release it back down. So we can keep those palms up if that feels good. Maybe moving with your breath to inhale up, exhale down, or maybe just breathing, or maybe just moving. No rules here other than keep it safe and keep it fun. Let's drop back down, hold that warrior two. We can turn those palms back down if we'd like. And then straighten out through that right leg. Let's turn those feet to parallel again. We'll keep the arms out wide. We're in a five-pointed star. Turn the palms to face behind you and bring the hands back to interlace the fingers. We're going to draw the knuckles down to open the chest, open the shoulders, and maybe turn that gaze upward. Take some nice full breaths here to relax the shoulders, open the belly. And then come back to a neutral spine. Let's bring the hands back to the hips. Turn the left toes the other way in our triangle stance. Then extending those arms, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Find a little dance here, reaching forward and reaching back. It's one of the things I always loved about coming into yoga for fun is it felt like a dance, but a really slow dance. Nothing you had to keep up with, nothing too fast. Let's reach forward, turn that left palm up, raise it up towards the ceiling, find our stargazer. Rooting down through the feet, lifting up through the fingertips. Let's start to bend into that left knee to find our peaceful warrior. So maybe inching that foot forward again, settling the knee over the ankle, maybe just trusting that it's there because you can feel it without even looking. And then let's release the arms back down. Find our warrior two. Turning the palms up, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Feel the feet down into the floor. Press down and straighten out that front leg. We'll bring the hands together and exhale, glide back down into it. Press down and lift up and exhale to come back down. A few more times. And relaxing back down, warrior two. Let's turn those palms down. And straighten that front leg. We'll turn those feet to parallel again. Arms are extended out. This time we'll reach behind, interlace the fingers, draw the knuckles down, and then forward folding. So hinging at the hips, bringing the torso down, parallel to the floor, and then maybe releasing the head down towards the floor. Knuckles can reach up. We can relax that head down. Let's find a little bend into the knees. Press down through the feet and lift ourselves back up. We can release those hands. Bring the hands to the hips. We're going to turn the heels in and toes out and come down into a little squat. So it's like our goddess pose, maybe not quite as deep as you would normally come into your goddess if you're used to coming nice and low. Let's bring those hands to the thighs. We're going to lean forward where usually we keep our shoulders over our hips. I find it helpful to turn the fingertips forward on the thighs here as well. A little rolling, twisting action for the torso here. So we're going to drop through one shoulder, press back through that opposite leg and turn the gaze. Come back to center and then over to the other side. So it's a little flowing movement. Breathing as we move. Find where you invite the in-breath and the out-breath here. Again, there's no right or wrong. It's all just about how it feels. Good. A couple more times, both sides. Notice how you can open into the hip here by guiding the leg open a little bit more. Also, a little bit of strength through the legs. Getting a little shake. Let's come back to center. Let's straighten out the legs and bring the hands down towards the floor. We're going to parallel those feet again, so turning the feet to parallel. We're going to come into a wide down-legged dog, inspired by Mildred. So let's walk our hands forward, bring the hands about shoulder width apart, and then release the head and chest down towards the floor. So in that V shape, that upside down V shape from the side, but our feet are nice and wide here. Notice how little weight we put into our hands from this posture. Beautiful. Let's walk those hands back. Find a bend into our knees. Maybe bring those hands to our hips. Press down and lift ourselves back up into a stand. Keep the hands where they are. Maybe bring them to the lower back for a back bend. So we're going to guide the hips forward, turn the gaze up, let the elbows and shoulders fall back and open. And then come back into a neutral spine. We can keep those hands on our hips. If you feel like having some fun and hopping today, we can bend through the knees, hop to the center of our mat, or maybe just step those feet in to where they are. Let's come into our mountain pose. So we're going to come into eagle pose for balance today. I find this helpful for eagle to use a wall. So feel free to, if you have a space where you're practicing, to place yourself up next to a wall. Otherwise, we can work out on the mat. Might also be helpful just to have a wall or a chair to hold on to. Start offering all these balance options, not to scare anyone, making you think you're going to fall right away, right? We're going to start with a little bend into our knees. So just a nice soft bend into our knees, kind of like a half chair, I guess you could say. We're going to take one leg and we're going to cross it over the other, starting with the toes down at the floor. It's just like you're sitting with your legs crossed, except we're standing, and mainly balancing on that one leg. So right now I have my right leg crossed, so that left leg is pressing down. There's an option for this right foot to stay right where it is, or maybe your balance will allow you to wrap it around the back of that standing leg. Let's take the arms out wide like an eagle, out in front of us, or out to the side of us. We can bring the arms out in front. We want to keep our back straight here. And if our right leg is on top, we're going to bring our right arm under our left, pressing the tops of the hands together and reaching forward with the fingertips. Maybe we can wrap the forearms and press the palms together and lift up through the fingertips. Let that gaze settle out beyond the forearms. Keep the core strong. And keep the gaze soft. Enjoy your eagle. We're going to work our way out of this. Let's start to unwind the arms wherever they are. Take them nice and wide. We're going to start to straighten our standing leg. Take the other leg out to our side and come into star balance. Feel free to tap down here or keep the leg lifted. Beautiful. Let's bring the foot back to the floor, arms back to our side. Reset in our mountain pose. We know what's coming again on that other side. It's all about being fun and playful. So make these postures work for you. Let's begin to bend the knees, find that soft little bend. And then we'll take that opposite leg, cross it over, keeping the toes on the floor, or maybe trying to wrap that foot around the leg. Maybe it works on one side, not the other. That's okay, right? Arms can extend out wide. Find your T. We've got our left leg on top, our left arm comes on bottom, top of the hands together. We're going to reach through the fingertips. Maybe wrap those forearms and lift up through the elbows. Enjoy that gaze, that soft gaze, where both arms together kind of look like one. Now let's release those arms, take them out wide again. We're going to press down through that right foot, lift into our star balance. It's big, it's open. Almost like we're going to roll on into a cartwheel. And then release. Foot to the floor, arms to our side. If we aren't at the top of our mat, let's find our way there and come into our mountain pose. So a little bit more fun for balance today. Let's try rocking on our feet. Coming back to our heels, coming up to our toes, and the ball of our foot. A little movement in that mountain today. Let's pause when we get back to our toes and the ball of our foot. Keeping the heels lifted as high as feels good. Maybe it's just a little bit off the floor. Maybe we tap down every now and then, and all of that is fine. We're here to play. We're here to explore. See if you can find some grounding through all of your toes. Big toe all the way to the pinky. Let's take those arms and extend them forward. Keeping the shoulders soft, face soft. We're going to work our way down into a squat, keeping those heels lifted. Knees can stay out in front. Coming down as low as your body allows you. Maybe you'll feel okay through those knees to come all the way down. Almost sitting on the calves. Staying in balance here. When you're ready, from however low you are, let's press down and try and lift back up. Woo! And then bring those heels back to the floor, arms to our side. Back in mountain. This time we'll take those feet into a V, toes pointed out, heels in. If we can, we'll keep the feet flat, but we're going to work our way down into a squat again. So this time, let's bring the hands to heart center. Take a breath in, lift up through the head, and then begin to lower down into your squat. So again, your squat might be right here, and that's beautiful. If that works for you, come right here in that squat. Or maybe we can come a little bit lower. It might feel better to be up on the ball of the foot and the toe here. Or maybe we can get back into the heels. It's all about wherever it works for you. If you're into arm balances, I haven't been practicing arm balances for a few years now. Let's bring those hands to the floor if you want to try some crow or maybe some crow prep. Follow along with me. Your fingers are going to be nice and wide. The hands are shoulder width apart. We're going to lift our hips and shift our weight forward. We can stay right here with these feet on the floor. That's where I'm going to stay. If crow is in your practice, maybe you can start to lift the weight up off of the feet and shift it into the hands. Maybe we can play with just lifting one foot off the floor and then the other foot off the floor. The trick in crow is to get these knees right behind the tricep, right next to the tricep on the arm, so you get a little ledge. So just playing with this however you wish to play with it. Just playing with shifting weight into the hands. Finding some trust, or maybe a little laugh in this position. Good. Then we'll work our way down and come into a seat. Let's bring the feet to the top of the mat and find our staff pose. So some wiggles, side to side. Nice tall seat, shoulders over hips. We can relax the hands to our side and gaze down in between the feet. Take a little pause here to settle and ground back into your floor. Good. Let's guide that right leg in towards our body. We can keep it here on this right side, across it over to the left. Gonna lengthen out our spine, flex through that left foot, and then take a gentle twist to your right. Keeping the hands here, maybe wrapped around the leg, maybe releasing the hand to the floor. Isn't that good? And let's turn to face forward. We're going to take this right leg, grab hold of the foot, and grab hold of the knee. And a little rock here, side to side. A little cradle the baby, rock the baby, whatever you want to call it. We're going to open through the hip. Then ground back into your seat. And the name of the game is fun today, so we're going to move through some kind of fun options for stretching out on the floor. Let's take this left leg and bend it and bring it in towards us so that we have a little kickstand for balance here. We're going to take our right peace fingers and grab hold of the right big toe. We got a little hook on that toe. Then we're going to bring that leg out to our side. So our left hand can be placed on the floor for balance here, or maybe on the left knee to guide the left hip open a little bit. So it's kind of like we're in a half happy baby, but we're seated. So coming into a little bit more balance. So we can wiggle that leg around here, bent, opening into the hip a little bit more. Or maybe we can try to straighten out that leg a little bit more. Maybe the knee stay bent a little bit. I'm going to lean back into our seat a bit more and extend out through the leg. Maybe take that left arm wherever it is and reach it out as well. Great. Let's bring that foot back to the floor, and we'll bring both legs back out in front. So back in our staff pose, just kind of regrounding again, checking in with our bodies, right and left, and then we'll guide that other leg in. Left leg can come in. Let's cross our body if that feels good. Draw the knee in, lengthen the spine, and turn into that twist. Let's feel a nice opening into the outside of the left hip here. And then release that twist. We're going to turn the face forward. Grab hold of the foot, grab hold of the knee, and rock that baby. Just a little gentle sway, side to side. Working into our hip joint, carving out that space for balance as we come and steady our seat. Let's bend that right knee, bring it in, let the knee fall open. And grab hold of our big toe with our peace fingers on the left side and bring that leg over to the side. Right hand can be placed anywhere for balance here. Maybe some wiggles through that leg. And then we can start to come into that little balance posture, leaning back, maybe extending straighter through that left leg. Maybe taking that right arm up for balance. So note where your tailbone is touching down to the floor. We're going to want to keep an eye on that focal point as we move into our next posture with this, but who's rushing ahead? Let's stay where we are. And let's release, come back to center. We're going to bring both those feet out in front of us. Hands can come in between the legs. Feel free to come into your Baddha Konasana. If you're done playing, if you're done having fun with those balance postures, and this is where it's at, you can come right here. If you want to play with Nova a little bit today, let's take our peace fingers, grab hold of those big toes, and sit back. Lift those feet up off the floor. So we're balancing on that tailbone space again. You should feel that. Hopefully it feels okay. If it does not feel okay, come back into a seat. Little play with the legs here. Maybe try taking one leg and extending it out to the side. Maybe try taking the other leg and extending it out to the side. Maybe try taking both legs and extending them out to the side. Woo. That's a tough balance posture. We're using our core a bit here. And if you roll back onto the floor, just laugh your way down and laugh your way back up. It's all in good fun. Couple more breaths wherever you are. Maybe try bringing the legs together. That's the hardest one for me. Well, let's work our way down. Bottoms of the feet together. Knees are open. Take a breath in. Lengthen out the spine. And then exhale to release it down. For those of you that stayed here that whole time, I applaud you. And thank you for making choices that work for you today. I find nothing more noble in life, but yoga practice is a microcosm of life, in saying no. In saying, no, that doesn't work for me. Thanks, but no. Let's work our way back up into a seat. Guiding the knees in towards each other. Let's bring those feet out in front of us and extend those arms. Take a breath in, reach it up, and a breath out to roll on down, bringing the knees in towards your chest and finding some wiggles or movement here. Beautiful. We're going to bring our feet up towards the ceiling. Find our legs up the wall, maybe with the wall or maybe minus the wall, maybe floating today. Again, playful and safe. I'm going to offer some options to close out our practice here today. If they are not options that you wish to take or that you should take, please do not take them. I want you to be very mindful of your neck and your back as we're moving here. So from this, legs up the wall, you may want to stay right here. Or maybe we can come into a shoulder stand, which is another one of those postures I don't usually teach because it can be contraindicated. That's the word I'm searching for. If you want to try shoulder stand, if it's in your practice, we're going to bring those legs back and up towards the ceiling. So we're resting on our shoulders and our elbows. Our legs are straight. Check in with that neck. Make sure the gaze stays straight up towards the ceiling. We're not going to turn our head either way. You're welcome to stay here. Maybe you want to bend the knees here. Or maybe you want to straighten the legs. Maybe you want to come into plow pose, which again, we need to keep an eye on our neck by dropping the legs back behind us. Maybe bringing the legs parallel towards the floor. Maybe the toes touch the floor. I don't know if mine are going to get there today. I can tell you that. Stay where you can breathe fully. And stay where you're safe. If you've been playing with any of these postures, let's begin to work our way out of them by bringing the legs back up. We can bend through the knees here, come into a little ball, and then roll our spine back down to the floor, bringing the knees back in towards the chest. Let's wiggle side to side. Maybe roll out that lower spine. Let's bring the feet to the floor, arms to our side, press down and lift through the hips. Come into your bridge pose. Our nice little inversion here with our head down below our heart. Enjoy that opening through the top of our body. Last little engagement of our muscles. Take another breath in and a breath out, lower back down. Let's sway those legs, just a little windshield washer side to side. Good. One more bridge pose or any posture that feels good for you to close out your practice. Press down and lift up if we're in bridge. Maybe interlace those fingers underneath and draw those shoulder blades in towards each other. Lifting up through the hips. Take another full breath in if you're here. And an exhale breath to release. Coming back down to the mat. We can extend our arms, extend our legs. Turning the palms up to relax the shoulders. Maybe take some little wiggles for the back of the head here. Carve a little pillow for your head to lay in. Nice little resting place. And begin to settle back down. Settle back into Shavasana. Let the feet fall open. Let the breath slow. Back into that via of searching out your body to find those places of joy. Find the places that feel good. And try to keep your focus there. Begin to draw a deeper breath back into our body. And begin to invite some movement, maybe wiggling the head side to side. Movement through fingers, movement through toes. You can begin to bend the knees here, maybe some sways for the legs side to side. Let's turn ourselves to roll over to one side or the other, wherever you are. And up into a comfortable seat when you're ready. Lovely. Let's bring the hands together at heart center. Anjali Mudra. Come back to that intention of finding fun in our practice, taking the serious out of our lives and just having some fun with it. How can we carry that into the rest of our day? What does that look like for you? And honoring the light and the wisdom within each of us. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for practice. I hope you had some safe fun today, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Everybody take care.